Natalie Sideserf here of Sideserf Cake Studio, and I'm going to show you how to make a cake that looks just like a candle. And what's kind of cool about this one is the techniques in this cake are relatively simple, in terms of my cakes that is, but they're very effective. It really looks just like a candle. So let's get started. All right, so we're gonna start with some vanilla cake. I have a round cutter that is 3 inches in diameter, and I'm just gonna cut out 4 layers of cake. Next, I wanna stack the cake. And I'm not gonna use buttercream in between the layers for this one because it needs to be nice and sturdy. This cake is very tall and not very wide, so it's gonna be a little wobbly, it's a little bit difficult. So if you use chocolate ganache with a peanut butter consistency, it's gonna be nice and stable and sturdy. Now that the cake is stacked and I have it relatively even, I'm going to pop the ganache in the microwave for just about a few seconds. And I just want to loosen the ganache up so it's a little bit softer, a little bit more liquid, and I'm going to crumb coat the cake. Now it's time to smooth out the ganache and make it look nice and pretty. I used a scraper that's flexible, so it has a little give. So when I put some pressure on the cake, it won't knock it over, it'll still stay upright. Next, I go in with a metal scraper that's gonna have that perfect 90-degree angle. You don't wanna push very hard because you will knock it over, it'll get all wobbly. You want it to stay nice and centered. Clean up the top, and then you're gonna put that in the fridge. Now to add the drips around the top of the candle, I'm going to use a loose ganache, and I'm just going to push the ganache over the edge in certain areas and let the ganache just kind of fall on its own and let gravity take over. I like that this is a little bit messy. I think it looks more realistic if I'm not too picky with where the drips go. I want some kind of big, bulky drips and then some that are a little bit thinner and more loose. I actually picked the cake up and pushed the drips down a little bit more. I wanted them to go a little bit further. This was actually really fun because you don't have to be too, picky with it. You just kind of let the drips go, and I want it to look nice and messy. To make the smaller drips, I made a parchment piping bag, and I just added some little thin ones for variety. I like some thick and some thin. So I really wanted to keep going with the drips, but I realized I already had plenty because it was really fun. So I had to stop myself and put it in the refrigerator. So with an offset spatula, I added a little dip in the center, and that's where the candle's gonna go. The real candle, that is. We'll get to that in a minute, but first we're gonna airbrush it. I absolutely love this cake as a brown candle, but I wanted to have a little fun with the airbrush, so I added a kind of silver pearl sheen to it. It looked a little festive to me, a little holiday. I slowly scraped away the wax of a very thin candle to expose the wick. And then I took the candle and I placed it right through the center of the cake until only the wick shows, so it looks like a real candle. And there you have it. It totally looks like a candle, only it's a cake. And it's actually funny because this candle was a trick candle, so it would go out and light back up. That was pretty funny to me. So if you guys like this tutorial, I will do more. Give me some suggestions. Go ahead and subscribe and like this video.